Hi, this is Hitman SOS, and today I'm going to be showing you a complete set of WCW galoob wrestling figures. So, in completely random order, what I will do is I'll show you the more common figures first, the international releases, or I think they're known as the kind of US figures, although they weren't only available in the US. But once I show you the common figures, the ones that were available in US and wherever else, I'll then show you the UK exclusive figures. So the very first wrestling figure I ever purchased in my entire life was this Sting, and it was actually Sting really that made me become a wrestling fan. I wasn't really into wrestling at the time. I didn't really know anything about WCW or WWF, but I went in town with my pocket money. I didn't really know what to buy, and I ended up, because they were good value for money, I ended up getting this Sting. He came in a 2-pack with Lex Luger, but the 2-pack figures are exactly the same as the single releases, so it didn't matter whether you bought the 2-pack or single figures. They were exactly the same. So yeah, Sting, very first wrestling figure. Sting and Lex Luger 2-pack was my very first wrestling figures. So this is known as the Orange Trunks Sting, although I've always found it hard to determine what color that is. It's just kind of a reddish, peachy almost color, but it's known as the Orange Trunks Sting. So yeah, I may never have become a wrestling fan if it wasn't for my Sting figure. So here's this is again Sting. This is a repaint. This is probably my favorite version. I don't know, even though the Orange Trunks was the first one I got. I probably got the Orange Trunks version because this color wasn't there. So yeah, same figure, just a repaint, different color face paint, different color tights. The Scorpion is a different color. And every figure comes with one of these standard WCW belts as well. So, yep, another repaint of the same Sting. He was in the same series, available at the same time. You just had 3 different options as to what color Sting you wanted, and this is the third one. So this is the black tights Sting. So this was the very first one that my brother had, because I remember bumping into him in town and showing him the Sting and Lex Luger 2-pack that I bought. He then went in the store and bought the exact same pack, but he got this color. So with the pink face paint, black tights, yellow boots, and a kind of pink and yellow Scorpion there. Oh, and by the way, I don't have the WCW Galoob ring. I did have that when I was a kid, but it did get trashed and it got beaten up. It was a really cool ring. If I remember, more people actually had the WCW ring than they did the WWF Hasbro ring at the time, because it just had a lot more features on it. But this is actually a Mattel ring. It's a few years old. I think it was a Target exclusive. Came with Dusty Roads, so it's kind of like the basic Mattel type of ring, but really cool because it's WCW. And this little thing here is I bought this on eBay. It's like a 3D print thing. I just thought it looked cool. Goes with my figures, so I bought it. Okay, so next figure I'm going to show you is Barry Windham. Black trunks. So this is kind of a heel version of Barry Windham. I believe he was one of the 4 horsemen at the time. There is a UK exclusive repaint of this Barry Windham. Okay, who am I going to show you next? Okay, so next we got Butch Reed. He was, I believe, at the time of making the figure, although he'd already been and gone by the time I started watching WCW. I never actually saw Butch Reed in WCW. He must have recently gone because they'd already made the figure. So yeah, this is Butch Reed, who was one half of Doom with Ron Simmons. I do have, here we go, there is a variant of, this is also Butch Reed. This one actually has the ticks there colored in on the sneakers. This is actually the version I had since I was a kid, so kind of cool that I picked up the one that had the the red ticks colored in on the sneakers there, whereas the other one doesn't. So that's probably why I ended up with two Butch Reeds, just because I decided to get the plain version later on, maybe. But yeah, one of them I had since I was a kid, and the other I bought in more recent years just to add to my collection. And here we have Ron Simmons. So I believe Ron Simmons and Butch Reed were available in a 2-pack. I assume they were, as well as being released singular. So here we have Ron Simmons. I do have a UK exclusive repaint of Ron Simmons as well, which you'll see later on in the video. Okay, so next, like I say, totally random order. Next we've got Sid Vicious, later on known as Psycho Sid Justice, but this is Sid Vicious as he was in WCW. I believe he was one of the Four Horsemen as well at this time. So I do have a UK exclusive repaint of Sid Vicious as well. Okay, next we got Tom Zank, the Z-Man. So I always liked Tom Zank when I was a kid. I always thought he was kind of cool in WCW, but yeah, one of those guys that you don't really hear much about him now. So yeah, that's Tom Zank, known as the Z-Man. Okay, Flying Brian Pillman. So this was one of my favorite guys in WCW when I was a kid. This is the one that I've had since I was a kid. So he is pretty beaten up and dirty looking. Yeah, I do actually have a mint on card one of these as well, which I always intended opening just so I can have a mint one, but it was one of those things where I just couldn't bring myself to open up a vintage, figure. So yeah, I may still do. So there, Flying Brian Pillman. Okay, next we got Ric Flair. So with blue trunks there, you got the little RF on the trunks there as well. So I do have a UK exclusive repaint of this figure as well. Okay, so Ric Flair's good buddy Arn Anderson. So he's got the half red and half white trunks. So this is one I've had since I was a kid as well. You can see he's there's bare skin showing there on his butt cheeks from where the paint's worn off. So Arn Anderson. I know people have not been very happy in the past about me calling Arn Anderson boring, but I know Arn Anderson is not a boring performer, but in terms of merchandise and action figures and his look, Arn Anderson doesn't have that charisma, or he's not a big merchandise seller. So that's what I mean when I say he's boring, just a boring plain character. So Lex Luger, say first wrestling figure I ever owned, well, first wrestling figure I ever bought as a kid. So yeah, he came in a 2-pack with Sting. So blue trunks Lex Luger. I do have a UK exclusive repaint of that. Okay, and next we have Scott Steiner and Rick Steiner. I guess I should show you these together, as the Steiner brothers are a tag team and they belong together. So we got Scott Steiner there with a yellow with a black, kind of a black stripe down the side singlet. And you got Ric Flair. Sorry, Rick Steiner, not Ric Flair. So also known as the Dog-Faced Gremlin. Kind of a bluey purpley singlet with a lighter blue patch on the side. So I do have UK exclusive repaints of these as well. So that is actually the last of the international releases, or the US releases, whatever you want to call them. Next I'll be showing you the UK exclusives. I'm running out of space in this ring as well, so I'm going to have to clear this ring before I start with the UK exclusives. Okay, so this is the UK exclusive repaint of Ron Simmons. Kind of a pointless repaint, really. I mean, the only difference is that there's a stripe down the side of his leg there on his pants. So if I was to compare him with the previous one, there is a slight different color, shade of blue used on the pants there. And he does have a white stripe, and that's literally really the only difference. And just for the record, just so that anybody knows, in case they're wondering, the UK did actually have the US figures as well as the UK exclusive. So in the UK, you would have had both of these versions of Ron Simmons. So yeah, kind of a pointless repaint, really. I guess he was just there to make up numbers or something. They just decided to add a new Ron Simmons into the series. So this is the UK exclusive repaint of Sid Vicious. This time he's got the pink singlet as opposed to the black that he did previously. Okay, next we've got Arn Anderson. So another one that I think is kind of pointless. It's almost like it's not even really like that much of a big difference, but his trunks are like fully red with the black AA there on the front, as opposed to being half red and half white. So if I get the previous one, so standing side by side, you can see there are some other differences. The UK exclusive has red knee pads. The previous one has black. This one is half red, half white. This one is fully red. So that's the UK exclusive repaint of Arn Anderson. So now we have the UK exclusive repaint of Ric Flair. So all in red trunks, red knee pads. This one, if I can just lift that up, he does have a lightning strike there on the front of his trunks, which is something I'm not really familiar with. I don't really remember Ric Flair having that on his trunks, but I'm guessing he did. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the action figure with him in that attire. So I don't know. Maybe somebody out there can tell me or tell everybody else as well that may not know why he has that lightning strike there. Okay, so another attire that I don't really recognize. So this is Brian Pillman. He's wearing plain blue trunks, and he's got these like little, almost like tiger or lion faces on his knee pads there. There is actually a variant of this figure as well, where there's only one of these tiger faces on the knee pads. The other one is plain, which almost seems like a factory error, but it's like there are actually a few of them out there. So I don't know, but there is a little bit of a stipulation that somebody may have actually been able to rub the black paint off and claim that it's the variant version. So I don't have that version. Yeah, I didn't even know it existed until in more recent years. But that was the UK exclusive repaint of Brian Pillman. Okay, so this is the repaint of Barry Windham. He's got blue trunks with a little black stripe down the side there, if you can just see that. So yeah, as opposed to the previous one that had completely black trunks, the blue tape around the wrists as well, whereas the previous one I think was black. Okay, we got this is the repaint of Lex Luger. He's wearing green trunks with a yellow stripe on the side. So some of these figures, I do wonder if they actually wore this attire, or did Galoob just make it up? I don't know. He's got the yellow tape on his wrists there as well. And okay, so this is the last of the UK exclusive repaints before I show you the UK exclusive, the completely new molds. So now these Steiner Brothers do look a lot better than the previous versions. I think a lot more colorful, a lot more Steiner-like, if you will. So you got Ric Flair with the kind of almost neon green singlet. Sorry, Rick Steiner. I keep saying Ric Flair. He does have the little tattoo on his shoulder there as well. The previous one did as well. I just didn't point that out. So yeah, that's the UK exclusive repaint of Rick Steiner, and here we have the Scott Steiner. So like I say, I do like these repaints a lot more than the previous version. Just a lot brighter and more vibrant, and more how I remember the Steiner brothers. Okay, so first I'm going to show you Sting. So this is the first of the UK exclusives that actually was a new mold and not a repaint. So we got a completely new Sting with his entrance gear. Very nice figure. So I can imagine this one's probably quite rare as well. So nice to see Sting in his entrance jacket, Okay, the next one I'm going to show you, we have Lex Luger as well, kind of in his entrance robe. I bought this figure off eBay many years ago. It's not one I had as a kid, and I had absolutely no idea that this figure actually comes with a chain accessory, and I do not have that accessory. And it's actually known for being one of the rarest and most expensive and hardest to find wrestling figure accessories there are. So I probably never will have that chain accessory for my Lex Luger figure. I don't even remember Lex Luger ever coming to the ring with a chain anyway. So yeah, not something I'm going to particularly miss, but yeah, the figure isn't complete without it. Okay, so next we got Elegante, the tallest wrestler there ever was. He did later on join the WWF and become Giant Gonzalez. So I did prefer him in WCW as Elegante. So really cool figure. Very happy to actually have an Elegante figure, because I think this is the only Elegante figure there's ever been made. I know that there has been Giant Gonzalez figures, but I think this is the only Elegante. Okay, so next I'm going to be showing you the Fabulous Freebirds. So this is the WCW version of Fabulous Freebirds. So you've got Michael P.S. Hayes, and you got Jimmy Jam Garvin. So this Jimmy Garvin wasn't an original member of the Fabulous Freebirds. If I remember, it was Terry Gordy was previously Michael Hayes' tag team partner, but this is the version that I remember when I was a kid, because this was the Fabulous Freebirds when I first started watching wrestling. But I know this is not the original version of the Fabulous Freebirds. So Jimmy Garvin with a little bit of paint on his face there, a little bit of detail on the tights there, and Michael P.S. Hayes, also a little bit of face paint there. So I believe there's also whoops, I just knocked the figures down, but they can stay like that. So yeah, as I was going to say, I think there is a 2-pack where you get the Fabulous Freebirds with like a sound box that you can use with the ring, where you press the different buttons and it makes different noises, as well as the figures being available singularly. So next we have Big Josh. This is probably my favorite WCW galoob. I've always liked this Big Josh figure. I do remember Big Josh very well when I was a kid, watching him on TV. So this guy, just in case you didn't know, this guy eventually became Doink the Clown in WWF. Matt Bourne, his name is, the guy who portrayed Big Josh. So this is one of the rarer WCW galoob figures. This axe handle accessory that he came with as well is actually a very rare accessory. It's quite common to find these with reproduction axe handles accessories. So if you are looking for this figure and you do come across one on eBay, you may want to double check that the accessory is original and not a reproduction, because that does happen quite a lot these days with some of the rare accessories that any action figures come with. And the very last figure I'm going to show you on this video is Dustin Roads. So again, this was always one of my favorite WCW galoob figures, because this, I believe, is the only Dustin Roads figure that's ever been made. Obviously, he became Gold Dust, you know, in the WWF, so there's been plenty of Gold Dust figures, but Dustin Roads in WCW, nobody ever seems to really talk about Dustin Roads. I think this is the only action figure there's ever been. And just so that anybody out there knows, if you're ever looking for this figure and you come across it on eBay or something like that, he is the only character that comes with a slightly bigger belt, because of the vest that he's wearing. That kind of makes his waist bigger. So he actually has 9 notches on the belt as opposed to 7. So yeah, if you ever find one on eBay or whatever and it comes with a belt that doesn't fit him, it's not the correct belt that he's supposed to have. So yeah, and the 9-notch belt is rarer, obviously, and a little bit more expensive to get hold of. So if he doesn't come with the 9-notch belt, he's not complete. So anyway, that was all of the WCW galoob figures, and I just want to say thank you for watching.